At first, pain is something that happens to you. Later, it becomes something you carry. And eventually, it becomes something you defend. There is a moment in every life when suffering stops being an accident and starts becoming a narrative. You no longer just remember it. You organize your identity around it. Albert Camus once suggested that humans search for meaning even inside absurdity. So pain becomes meaningful, not because it is noble, but because it explains who you are. You start to introduce yourself through what hurt you, through what betrayed you, through what broke you. Slowly, your wounds turn into a language. Emil Cioran would have called this a dangerous comfort, when despair becomes familiar, and familiarity feels safer than change. There is an ego here, not loud, not arrogant, but subtle.
It whispers, if you heal, you will lose your depth. If you let go, you will lose your uniqueness. If you move on, you will become ordinary.
So pain becomes precious. Hannah Arendt understood that humans survive through stories. But when the story becomes stronger than reality, we stop living and start performing our suffering. You choose relationships that resemble old wounds. You revisit memories that should have ended. You romanticize sadness because it feels authentic. Not because you want to suffer, but because suffering has become familiar. Jiddu Krishnamurti would have said, the moment you identify with pain, you stop observing it and start becoming it. And that is the real tragedy, because the ego does not fear pain. It fears emptiness without drama. Pain gives structure, it gives direction, it gives a sense of self. Healing threatens all of that. If pain is not who you are, then who are you? That question terrifies the ego, so it clings to scars. It polishes memories, it repeats patterns. Until one day you realize something quietly brutal. Your suffering has become your home, but homes are not always places you should stay. The moment you stop narrating your life only through what hurt you, something strange happens. You feel lighter, but also lost. Not because you're broken, but because you're no longer defined by pain. And that is where real freedom begins. Not when pain disappears, but when it stops being your identity. The ego doesn't just endure pain, it turns pain into meaning. And awakening begins when you realize you are more than the story you learned to tell about your wounds.
If this resonated, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Your support is a small step for you, but a giant leap for BrainRootX.